What's your age?
43.
Are you single?
Kind of, sort of, but not really. You know what I'm saying? I'm married to the game, brother.
At your age, have you ever proposed to a woman before?
Nah, I would never do that. If I ever thought about getting married, we gonna get a shaman or something and do a tribal ritual. I'm not signing no paperwork with the government with my money and my greatness.
Well, why do you as a man feel like marriage is a risk?
As a businessman, you gotta go off the numbers. 60% of marriages end in divorce, and they always initiated by the woman, like 70%. So off those numbers alone, I would never jeopardize my greatness, my millions, my glory to that piece of paper.
So you don't marry a woman, but you're with her long term. What happens next?
I mean, we just living life. We gonna go with the flow. If she wanna move around, she can. I'm not holding nobody hostage. You know what I'm saying? See, that what happens. That's like the cage somebody in when they get that paperwork. No, we living free out here.
To the 43-year-old woman watching this now, who would go, "You're not taking anybody serious without marriage," what would you have to say to that?
I say God bless them. If you're 43 and you're a woman and you're complaining about marriage, that means you already passed your prime. That is a fact. As a 43-year-old man, I got better with life. I'm better right now as 43 than I was at 23. I'm gonna keep getting better. I'm gonna keep getting more money. I'm gonna keep looking better. I'm gonna keep getting more women. It ain't gonna never stop for me. But for a woman that age, God bless her. She gonna need it.
What's your age?
All right. So here we have a 43-year-old man, and I believe this is Mr. Organic. The caption didn't really say it, but I think this is Mr. Organic. He's a guy he's a Miami guy, if I'm not mistaken. I know he lives out there. I've seen him do podcasts with Bandman Kevo, Fresh from Fresh and Fit. So, he's in that kind of realm of being in the manosphere, kind of red pillish guy. So he's been getting a lot of backlash for this video right here because he's 43. They're saying he's dressed like a 19-year-old. He got the rapper jewelry on, and women are seeing his mindset as somewhat childish for his age. Me, I don't really think that as far as how he's dressed. I mean, he's in Miami. Everybody, is trying to be dressed to the T and be up with all the latest trends. And as far as jewelry, I think a lot of people get it confused. Nowadays, we do see the chains and stuff on the younger guys, but the OGs are the ones who kind of started the jewelry game up, and the dope boys and the more so old school rappers. Those guys were older when they started doing the whole jewelry and the big chains and the flashy pendants. That came from the older generation. The younger generation just adopted that. So I don't mind him having jewelry on. I don't mind how he's dressed. Now, as far as his mindset when it comes to marriage, I think he's just playing it safe. A lot of times when it comes to businessmen, we're more likely to take a business risk versus taking a risk when it comes to something like marriage. And he says he's not totally against it. He's just against, signing his rights away because he doesn't see the benefit for him in doing that. And from his perspective, I can understand that. He's a guy, he's probably been through many serious relationships in his life, and they usually probably never worked out for him. That's why he's 43, single, hanging out in Miami, entertaining the nightlife lifestyle. Seems like he takes good care of himself, right? And as a man, that's the most important thing, that you stay fit, you stay in shape, and you put high quality foods into your body, right? If you do that, you can do whatever you want as a man. The world is your oyster. So I don't really mind his mindset. I will say that this mindset isn't for everybody. The average 43-year-old man nowadays does not look like this. The average 43-year-old man, he's out of shape. He's working long, stressful hours at a dead-end job. This is a guy that needs a woman in his life. Most of the things that Mr. Organic here, most of the things that he could get from a woman, he could pay for somebody to do, besides I guess even the companionship, right? And I think that's what it comes down to, is that most of these Miami guys, you got to understand, it's a different world out there. It's a different world. They don't believe in it there being a such thing as a good girl, a girl with a low body count, a girl without trauma and baggage. So those guys, they end up seeing women as all being kind of the same. All of them only like you for your money and things like that, which we all know isn't the case. But when you're in Miami, that's just kind of how things look. That's just kind of how it feels for some of these guys, that, we He got to come outside. He got to make money. He got to, like, keep up his personal brand and all those things. But this is just, we see a lot of guys that aren't in the best shape, and they're this age. They're entertaining this lifestyle with, having these meaningless relationships with random women. And that can be deadly for you as well. Like, yeah, getting married, you can lose a lot. If your prenup isn't ironclad, you can be in a situation where you're losing a lot of your stuff, a lot of your wealth. But I like to say it like this, like, if that's the case, if you're worried about that, definitely don't get married. But at the end of the day, he is the brand. He got the sauce. Yeah, a woman can take a lot of stuff from him, but he can get money back. You can get money back. So, if you're in a situation that it makes sense, whether it's for the tax benefits or whatever, to get married, and you feel like it's a good woman, I wouldn't be so worried about losing my stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm the sauce, right? I'm the sauce. I'm the person that makes the money. I got the big personal brand, so it doesn't really matter. But, he's just trying to protect his assets. The only other thing I will say is you got to be careful living this way to not end up like how Kevin Samuels, and, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. But he did die in a hotel with a random woman around, somebody that didn't know what to do when he started going through whatever he was going through. So that is something that you gotta well, I actually think she was a nurse, but it seemed like she was freaking out on the phone call from what I remember. So that's something you gotta think about too when you out living out this wild lifestyle. You're a little bit older, you're popping blue chews, those things ain't too good for your heart. They can be bad for your heart. So you gotta watch out and worry about those things. If you are going to be 40 plus, living this young player like lifestyle, this not willing to settle down lifestyle, that's just something you got to worry about. But as far as like the backlash he's getting about how he's dressing and his mindset, I just think women are going to complain about what they're going to complain about. But those same women, if he gave them a chance, they would be right beside them, riding in those fancy cars, eating at those fancy places. So what does it really matter? Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. As always, love y'all. I'm out.